Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wannabes podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Morgan, and that's Luke. And I realized I pulled a Luke and have all of our lower thirds messed up. You're welcome. I did this just for you. Bert, did you just move yours? Oh, you just moved yours. Okay. I had to move yours. Sorry. Anyway, now it's saying they're correct names. So, yeah. I'm Morgan, and that is Luke. The lower thirds are correct, and welcome to the Wannabes podcast, everybody. Tonight we do have a little bit of a fun. I think it's going to be a pretty fun review. We're going to be diving into the 2025 film Frankenstein. So I'm excited to dive into that. But before we do, Luke, you found some news for us. Let's discuss that. Hold on one second, bud. There we go. I think. Can you talk for me?
Yeah.
There we go. For some
Oh,
reason,
can
the
you hear me now?
My Discord audio was not working properly, but you are good. Please start over on the news.
Yeah, no worries. A little bit of Predator news. Predator Badlands comes out, I believe, this weekend. Very excited to see it. I rewatched Killer Killers last night. I forgot how good it was, honestly. Dan Trachtenberg has been killing it with the Predator franchise and the movies that he's put out. Saw today that he has the top 3 highest rated Predator movies in the franchise with Prey, Killer of Killers, and then this one. Excited to see that. But the big news or the big want for this franchise has always been to have Arnold Schwarzenegger come back. There's a nice little cameo at the end of Killer of Killers. We'd love to see it. The producer of Badlands, Ben Rosenblatt, has said that Arnold Schwarzenegger has been wonderful. Arnold and Dan have met a couple of times now. He's been really interested in what we're doing. He's a real fan of what we've done so far, from what I understand, and we're really excited. After Predator Badlands comes out, we'll see and have more conversations. Hopefully, we'll have a chance to do something with Arnold because that would be awesome. I believe this is only a matter of time. The fact that the franchise is probably at the heights that it hasn't been since the 1 and 2 came out. Like I said, these have been the 3 of the highest rated films to come out for this franchise, which is surprising when I saw the rating that the original has. And yeah, it's been a dream for Schwarzenegger to come back forever. He was rumored for Predators. He was rumored for The Predator. He was rumored to be not in Badlands, but was rumored to be in the sequel to Prey. That's awesome. I would love to see it. They obviously have set it up with the end of Killer of Killers, since that is an animated anthology movie, and Schwarzenegger's character is at the end of it, that we could just do animated stuff. All he's got to do is voice act. I would love to see it. It'd be great. I hope this happens. I really do hope this happens.
I'm excited.
Thoughts?
Honestly, like
Yeah.
go ahead. I don't want to.
Well, I mean, I like you said, I'm very excited. I'm waiting to see what happens with this film. I have reservations because it's PG-13. I'm not a fan, but
Fair.
everything coming out says that I'm wrong, and I hope that I am. So I'm excited to see it. Thank you, Tyler. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. But I mean, this just feels like a matter of time, especially that Killer of Killers came out and is animated and it's done very well.
Yeah, I'm very very excited to kind of like dive into everything with about Predator Badlands. Which, heads up, y'all, we will be reviewing on our episode next week, which will be Wednesday, November 12th. So I can't wait. I really can't wait because we are getting so much in Predator Badlands from the terms of the world building and like things we've seen mention of or we've seen in video games or in the comics that we haven't yet seen on the big screen. A lot of that being a bunch of the monsters. So I'm really excited to see what because we are getting so much given to us that we haven't seen in the movie medium yet. I'm curious to see where it's going to take the franchise and if it's going to open up additional doors and avenues, which will make sense obviously with if we want to look at Arnold rejoining, whether it's reprising his role in Predator Killer of Killers like we were discussing, especially with that ending scene. or even maybe a new, maybe another role or the same role in a live action, maybe later down the road, like the grizzled, I've been through this once before. Let me help you.
I definitely have massive questions after watching Killer of Killers again.
Agreed.
Just the whole idea that they're running with. So yeah, I honestly I don't think I'm gonna get many answers for that in this film. It feels like
Oh, I
something
doubt it.
different.
I agree. I
Which
do agree with that statement. I don't think we're gonna get
yeah,
answers, but we might get a lead in to something to do with it.
yeah, yeah.
So
I definitely would like to see something like that. So yeah, just I want this to happen, which leads into the next bit of news of people returning to franchises. Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are finally in talks to come back for The Mummy 4. And this is
yes,
something this is
woo,
something that I've wanted to have happen forever. I'm a fan of Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I don't have any beef with
get
it. But
the fuck out of my mummy movie, Tom Cruise. Get out
yeah,
of
that was
here.
bad.
Get
That
out of
that
here.
was
That one
that
doesn't
was
exist.
definitely
It's only Brendan Fraser, and I'm all here for this. Literally, the mummy in George of the Jungle, I had such a massive crush on Brendan Fraser growing up that still lives on to this day.
yeah, the dude's the man. And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate the things that happened to him, why we couldn't get any movies with him. But the man has definitely had a career renaissance since then.
Yes.
He's had thoughts on that reboot, and his thing is that that went for horror. This is meant to be fun. I disagree. The Mummy is supposed to be horror. I do like some of the things in Tom Cruise's The Mummy because there are actual horror elements. I am a big fan of what they were if you look into the making of the 2017 reboot, it's a mess, and I feel like a lot of it has to do with Tom Cruise. But that was their whole bag. They were shooting for the moon. They wanted big stars. They wanted to be the
And I
Avengers.
think I
It
think
didn't
that's the
work.
biggest problem is that they wanted big names in it. So they focused on kind of putting stuff towards that rather than towards just a good movie.
I don't hate that. You know what I mean? Because at the time it was Javier Bardem, Johnny Depp, Sofia Boutella, fucking Russell Crowe, Tom Cruise, like great actors and actresses, great people behind it. But the problem is like yeah, you've got Tom Cruise with the director of the film, I forget his name, who's basically like, I think that was his first film. Like, of course, Tom Cruise is going to come in and fucking run roughshod. It just is what it is. That's where they
Yeah.
made the mistake. Like, big stars are cool, but a dude that's going to come in and wants to just make it his thing, it's not going to work. But again, I can see where when I watch it, I can definitely see where they were trying to go, especially with the horror stuff. I'm in, but I don't disagree with what Brendan Fraser has to say about it being fun and being Indiana Jones esque because it definitely worked. I agree with him on that. That's fine. And this has the Ready or Not directors, Scream 6 and Scream 7 directors, Matt Bettinelli, Olpin, and Tyler Gillett. That is Radio Silence, I believe. They are attached to direct this. They're in talks to get Brendan and Rachel back. I hope they get everybody back. I want this to happen. And if they go with what they were going to do originally, and we are dealing with the Mayans, I'm fucking here for it. If they want to rehash Imhotep and like reboot, requel him, it's gotta be awesome. I think that could be done too, but I want my Mayans. That was always the plan. I want that to be the plan. So the other
I
thing that
100% agree
says
with that.
here the other thing that says here is that this is meant to be a direct sequel to the first two sequels. Morgan, you'll be happy ignoring Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Uh, Whatever. I'm cool either way. I just want them to come back. The franchise is awesome. I like Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, but I get it.
The OGs are better. I actually
I
I
don't.
wasn't ever scared of the OGs, but young little me, that the whole sand face that he does in the 1999 Mummy, like that shit was that's fucking creepy. I don't like that. That makes me uncomfy.
They do a great job at melding the two. You know what I
I
mean?
agree. I agree.
Um, but I love I love Boris Karloff, right? And even though you watch it and it's black and white and it's from the 30s, that is straight horror for the 30s. So I mean, if they wanted to
Yes.
do that,
100%.
and
100%.
we've got, like I said, the credentials are Ready or Not, Scream 5, and Scream 6. These guys are very good filmmakers that are in charge of the franchise now. If they decided that they wanted to infuse a little bit more horror, I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. But yeah, that's what's going on right now. Brendan and Rachel are in talks. Hopefully that snowballs into everybody coming back. And yeah, let's fucking do this and do it right. Give me 4. Everybody can ride off into the sunset after that. And one more bit of news, Morgan. I don't know if you are aware or not, but One Piece season 3 is well on the way. Netflix just dropped the firebomb about the latest actor joining the acclaimed fantasy production. With production commencing this year, the streamer has been revealing key details about the third installment live action version of Ichiro Oda's manga. Netflix has officially announced the Blue Beetle star Zolo Marandina. Sorry, I want to get this right. hang on, hang on. I just got to hear it one more time. Mariduena, got it, has been cast as Ace. And for anybody that
Yes.
doesn't know, that is the star of Cobra Kai and Blue Beetle. I'm a fan of both of those. I love this kid. He's pretty good at what he does, I think. And yeah, I think this is great casting. And else does it say? Without initiated, Ace is he is known as Monkey D. Luffy's fellow pirate brother who possesses the powers of the Flame Fruit. He becomes a key character in the original manga after his introduction in the Alabasta arc, which I believe is this. Oh no, season 3 will be based on. There may be hints to his existence in season 2, which releases in March. Let's go. But it seems viewers will have to wait another season to see Ace in the flesh. How are we feeling
Yes.
about it?
So I I don't dislike it, but I'm very excited to see him in his outfit. I want to see him in the fit because looking at like honestly like his typical like here's his IMDb photo. I'm like, I only half see it physically for him as Ace, right? So I don't hate the idea. I don't hate the casting. I'm very I just don't know 100% how on board I am for his his portrayal, but I'm also not against it. I'm very neutral if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that. And like my whole thing is I don't know. First of all, I never thought that this would happen in the first place anyway. Like I still have to constantly remind myself that yeah, there is live action One Piece and it's good. Um, one second. That being said, I just looked up Inaki Godoy is 22, Zolo is 24. They're very close in age. I'm not entirely sure how old they're supposed to be in the manga. I imagine it's around those ages. I always thought like Ace was like 25, whereas Luffy was like, I don't know, 16, 17, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's basically. Let me see. How old is Ace in One
But I say
Piece?
that just to say that just based off their pictures side by side, like they look
Ace.
like they're the exact same age. You know what I
So
mean?
when Ace dies,
Mhm.
he is.
Spoilers, by the way.
Sorry. So whatever. That arc of the anime has been out for how long? Let alone the manga.
Not
So yeah.
everybody watches One Piece, Morgan. Not everybody can
Just
marathon
saying.
that show 3 different times. All right,
Listen.
listen, you
Listen.
deserve a fucking award
Listen.
for that. I'm just saying, you deserve an award for the time that you have spent on this show. Like awards, they should be lined up on that fucking purple wall behind you. I'm not even playing. That's how much she has watched the show. I think in the dub and in the sub, right? You're a fucking maniac. Go ahead.
I'm not done with my rewatch of the dub specifically, but I am working on it. Um, but anyway, Ace was 20 when he does meet his demise,
Okay.
which he's expected to be about approximately 4 years older than Luffy. So
Okay.
at that time, Luffy is 16, and then post time skip, we get 18-year-old Luffy.
I did okay, and that's kind of what I was thinking. My whole thing is like, and I think I mentioned it before when the
And
show started.
real quick though, from time skip,
Yeah.
like Fishman Island, like all that shit to right now where we are, it's only been I think 6 months technically.
Well,
So
this time skip is 2 years, right? So he's like
yes,
18.
so
Yeah.
yeah, we have like I can't remember the time frame off the top of my head of like the beginning like pre time skip, but then it's time skip which is 2 years, and then from the end of the time skip to right now in the show we're at 6 months.
Tyler, also, who accepted their fate? Explain that to me. I'm trying. I'm 2 stories ahead,
Oh,
so
he was talking
bring that
about
back up to me.
what's his face from the Mummy.
Oh, Brendan?
No, the big bad evil guy. I'm blanking on
Oh,
his name.
Imhotep. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. The whole fucking requel is shit. That they could figure it out. But I want the Mayans. I just want to make that clear.
I do
Give
too.
me the Mayans. That would be
So
sick.
real quick to go off of your actual like story. That's not
Mhm.
the only actor they have officially announced for season 3.
That was
They
the
have
big one for me, but you can say the other one.
the other one I'm bringing up just because it's a very big role, a role I absolutely love and adore.
Yeah,
But
this is where you come in.
One Piece season 3 has cast officially Cole Escola as Mr. Two, who's also known as Bon Clay. So our lovely ballerina queen. Uh, so they are part of the Baroque's agents. Um, but with that being said, I don't personally know Cole Escola very well.
I don't either.
Physically, from some comparison photos, I honestly, from a physical standpoint, do think they will physically have a very good portrayal. Um, I think like their facial structure is very well set up for the facial structure of Von Clay. But with that being said, they do consistently show up on the nationally syndicated entertainment show called The Broadway Show with Cams and Fidel. And with that being said, pretty easy to probably assume Cole is in Broadway, which means they can dance. So that's very exciting that we that you have to have somebody who can dance to be Bon Clay and to do that role justice. So I'm happy to see that they went to someone who seems to have Broadway roots because I think that's a very smart casting decision.
Well, this is where we're starting to get into the thing where I think like there's certain things in the anime that should stick to the anime, but that's I agree with you. I'm gonna need to see him because there's
Hmm.
got to be some kind of like his outfit.
I'm
I
here.
don't
I'm
think
here for it. I want to see what
I
they
don't know,
do.
man. If they do it, all right, I'm here for it because like with the Cowboy Bebop live action show that I said, the thing that I praised about that the most was the fact that it looked like Cowboy Bebop, right?
Right.
This looks like One Piece. So if they keep doing that, great, but it's going to be like based off everything else. But I'm One Piece is kind of out there, man. There's definitely going to be some things where it's like, how the fuck are they going to pull that off? I
Well,
think we're starting to get there, but like
blanking on
I
his
want to see
name.
it. I do want to see how they do it.
Uh, what's his face? The one that we just saw in season 1 with the whole um story arc with getting Usopp, the like cat dude with like the
Mhm.
like that guy's even crazy and like doesn't make sense in how they would work as a normal person with like constantly having those like the claws, right? But I think they pulled it off well. They made it translate on in a live action way that worked. That still
Yes.
felt like it was like not taken too far away from the manga or from the anime.
Oh, I
So,
have faith. I do have faith. But yeah, I mean, there's wacky characters all over the place, and like it's just like, all right, well, you're gonna have to address this at some point. So, yay, not me, I guess. But yeah, no,
y-
I'm excited. I think they nailed the castings. Um, and yeah, I mean, they nailed everything before. I think they're continuing to do that, and yeah, I can't wait to see what season 4 looks like. And the thing that we're gonna end up running into is like One Piece is so long. I don't know how long they plan on doing this, but like people are just gonna get older and older and older, and it's like they don't rest. Like they just finished season 2, and they're already filming season 3. So I commend them for the fucking work ethic that they have to have because that's got to be an insane schedule to get this done. But like you have to, and I mean, just how long can you keep it up is kind of where I'm at with it. But I believe in everybody that's associated with this project and is working on it. And fucking yeah, let's see where it goes. But that was it for news. I have nothing left, Morgan.
yeah, so everybody, right now we're going to be switching gears from our entertainment news to officially our movie review of none other than the 2025 uh Del Toro film Frankenstein. It does star Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, uh Elordi. I said that wrong. Christopher Waltz, Mia Goth, and Felix Kimmerer. So, with that being said, where do you want to start? Because I
Well,
thoroughly enjoyed this film.
is there a budget? Do we got stats? This is in
Hmm.
theaters right now. This is
Oh my gosh.
definitely in theaters for anybody that
Duh.
doesn't know. Which
Yes.
which right off the bat, I know this is going to be coming out on streaming. I think this weekend.
Yes.
You'll be
It
able to catch it
releases
on
on
Netflix.
Friday. Releases on Friday the 7th.
Um, Look, I'm just going to get this out of the way because we're both going to do it. But we go see it in the theaters if you can.
Yes. If you can.
100%.
Genuinely worth seeing it on the big screen. But you're right. Duh. Box office, like I always do. You can tell I haven't been around for a minute. A little rusty over here, my bad.
I had my stretch. It's okay.
All right, so first things first, this is distributed by Netflix, with it being produced and directed and screenplayed written by Del Toro, which this is again all based on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. The budget for this film was 120 million US dollars. And if I get into my box office stuff,
That's surprising.
that is so
That
little
seems like a
or so high.
yeah,
I
little.
agree. I was impressed. I'm surprised it's so little. So, with that being said, Frankenstein actually landed its world premiere in the main competition of the 82nd Venice International Film Festival
Of
on
course it did.
August 30th of 2025. But its North American premiere made it to the special presentations program of the Toronto International Film Festival, where it was screened on September 8th. It also was presented in the gala presentation at the 30th Busan International Film Festival on September 18th, and as a headline gala of the 69th BFI London Film Festival on October 13th. So, for its Mexican premiere as well, it screened at the Morelia International Film Festival. But with that all being said, it was released officially in select theaters on October 17th, 2025, including select screenings on 35 millimeter and IMAX. So the distribution for Mexico's release in select theaters was handled by uh, Pimienta Films, if you were wondering. But
I was.
I am trying to find the official numbers because it isn't set up like it normally is for giving me my box office. So I can't tell
Makes
you its
sense.
full breakdown because it just like it was released in such in a different way than most films because of all of its film festivals. But its overall box office number, which I can tell you, it has so far brought in 331,641 US dollars, both nationally and internationally.
Okay, well, I will say that the 120 million is really blowing my mind. I'm not gonna lie. This movie looks like it's made for way, way more. Um,
I
I'd give it
honestly
up to
leaned over to Dan and said, I was like, with these, like the set design and the costume design, if this doesn't end up winning awards at during the Oscars, I don't know what will. Like, I am genuinely, this is a beautiful film, and like they put a
y-
lot of attention to detail in it.
yeah, Nosferatu got nominated but didn't win anything, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I think this would be. It's
Honestly,
definitely along the same lines.
set
I
design was even better than Nosferatu in my opinion. But that is because
I will.
Nosferatu played in a lot more of like the darks and the shadows where
Fair.
we got more settings where we could see more of the detail in this film in comparison to Nosferatu.
That's an argument we should have one day. Um,
Let
but
alone
this
the
bad
prop
boy,
design. There's a lot more
yeah.
prop design in this one than Nosferatu.
I mean, I don't disagree because there's a whole lot more going on with the sets in here, and
Mhm.
like you said, it's lit. It's a lot brighter. I can see pretty much everything that's going on. This
Especially
movie
if you
is
like
really not dark.
I immediately think of Victor Frankenstein's like office area, like that whole just like setup of like the body literally cracked open, like just like all of those visuals, just all of the jars, all of the like the medical instruments, like there's so much attention to detail in that regard that that stands out more to me than Nosferatu because Nosferatu was shot in like dim, dark. We're dealing with a vampire, where we're actually dealing with humans who are creating something unhuman.
Sure. Well, all right. Let's start there. Let's start with Victor. Played by Oscar Isaacs. I do
Loved him.
enjoy his performance. I mean, okay, I'm a big fan of what he does in the movie. I think it works well with the direction that Del Toro is trying to go because this is like the I don't know like 50th adaptation of this story. But like the three main ones for me are always going to be Boris Karloff in the 30s, Kenneth Branagh and Robert De Niro in the 90s, and now
Agreed.
this one.
That's fair.
Those are the three movies when it comes to Frankenstein I will compare it to
I
because all
honestly
three of
probably would
those
have chose I would probably choose the same 3.
I enjoy all three of those. I think they're all classics in their own right. I mean,
Mhm.
I could definitely the one that you could argue the most is Branagh's and De Niro's in the '90s, but even still, it has its moments. It has its spot, especially in my heart. I'm a big fan. So when I looked at it or when I watched it, I started to comparing him to the other performances as Victor. He's got my favorite one. Oscar Isaacs does. I think this is a great way to portray this character because the biggest thing for him about me that I took away is that Victor is just massively obsessive. Um, I got that from the 1930s one, but that's played in a different way. This one is
Mhm.
definitely more towards the book. That's the biggest thing. The 1991 and this one are as about as close to the book as you can get.
Agreed.
I want I want the straight up book. That's what I want. But I get what we're doing. We're adapting stuff. We're putting our own spin on it. Del Toro definitely does that, and he does it with his character. But I like that direction because the whole point of Victor is just to prove he's right. That's pretty much it.
What I
And
like too
I'm good
is
with it.
like though this Victor, like Oscar's Victor is still obsessive, there's still this like feeling of humanity with him. And I mentioned that because like there are other iterations, not just like those three that we've been talking about, where they really make Victor Frankenstein be this crazy like mad scientist, and they
He's
really
crazy.
really lean into the crazy mad scientist bit. Where I like how this is more like he has almost this obsession of being right and to prove himself right and to prove other people wrong, and that is his drive. It's like, I think this can happen. I think I can make this happen. Y'all don't believe me? Well, I'm going to fucking prove it to you. And I love
Yeah.
that because it brings from like other iterations of Frankenstein, it brings back kind of more of that humanity to this type of character. And I say humanity lightly because one can argue how strong his humanity still is through what he is creating. But I do think he feels in this case a little more human than other versions of Victor Frankenstein that we've seen on the screen.
Um, I guess I don't disagree, especially if I'm going to compare him to the other two, because the '30s one is just mad scientist. I went and saw the movie with my buddy Jeff, and we came out, and I told him I was like, yeah, so Victor in the '90s is just like he's very '90s, right? Like he's for
Sure.
anybody that's seen it, that Victor is like shirtless, he's like ripped, he's got all these different scenes, like the whole it's '90s cheese. I feel like in the best way. This one's played a lot more straightforward with the madness, I guess you could say. Um, but it's less madness and more obsessive, right?
Yes.
And he's a very selfish dude. He's just very singular in his goals. He wants
And
to do this.
a lot of
But
obsessive people are that way. Like
yeah,
when they're so set, focused, and obsessed over one thing, kind of like they have the blinders up. They don't
yeah.
pay attention to anything or don't care about anything but their end goal. So it
Well,
works.
and they try to show me. I feel like it's to get me on Victor's side with. By the way, Charles Dance is in here. He plays Papa Frankenstein. Charles Dance is
Hmm.
great and everything, but like
Playing
he always
another
plays like the
good old
same
dick of a
dude.
father, though.
Yeah, he's the same guy and everything, but he does it so well. Um, and like I don't think it worked the way that they wanted it to. You know, like I feel bad for young Victor to a point, but then you see even with young Victor the switch when he just becomes pretty single-minded in what he wants to do, and then it jumps
Yes,
to adult Frankenstein, and
I
it just keeps going from there. So like I'm with him for a minute because I don't think the tragic backstory that they tried to give him is that tragic.
so I
Like
was about to say
Charles,
I hate to be that person, but I almost wanted there to be more of a traumatic relationship between Charles Charles Dance's Victor Frankenstein to our Oscar Isaac Frankenstein. Like I wanted there to be more of a relationship and emotional strain. I think they tried. I think we tried getting that when we get Victor's brother introduced and how he's being favored by their
Mhm.
father, but I feel like that could have been forced a little more. We could have because later with what we get later in the film, uh, from what you know Victor's brother says to him at near the end, I think it would have had even more weight in that moment if we saw more of a relationship strain between not only father and eldest son, but also the two sons themselves, the
I think
brothers.
I like the line because that Victor is at that point like he's done everything to himself, right?
Mhm.
So I'm with that. But yes, I agree with you in the Charles Dance stuff because yeah, he's being a dick, but he's just like being a dad for the time. He very much like Victor takes it as favoritism, which they do show that it is there, but at the same time, Papa Frankenstein is just like, I want you to be the best that you can possibly be. Is
Yeah,
he a
it
dick about it? Yeah,
back then, it was about status, power, what you
right,
how you came off in the social aspect. Like,
right.
it didn't really give me menacing evil dad as it gave bit of a hard ass dad, but he's trying to, like, also teach their sons, like, "You need to have a certain way about yourself to survive in the society of today."
Yeah, so this is essentially for Charles Dance. It's essentially the same character that he plays in The Sandman. And for anybody who's seen that, that dude's a dick. That dude is what this guy is trying to be, in my opinion. So yeah, that didn't really land for me because that is something that Victor in the film tries to use as like an excuse. Oh, my dad didn't really love me. It's like, I mean, he kind of did, but
He
yeah, I
took the
get
time
it.
to educate you. Like,
Right. He
like,
literally made
and he
sure you were like
even
the smartest dude ever.
like, the one, there's the one thing where we see a bit of a like, a transition where he's like, "No, your hands are now your instrument, but your
Yeah.
face is vanity," and he fucking slaps him in the face with his, like, stick. Like, there
Yeah, it's
honestly,
a little
I
stick.
think there could have been more cruelty through his teaching, because he's like
Yeah,
I think there could have been, like, quizzing him, and he's like, maybe slams on the table, like, "You need to know this." I think the way
yeah.
they did it wasn't bad, but it was still almost too soft for how we see adult Victor feel about his father.
Right, because he doesn't come off as a kid that was abused and more as just a brat. It's like, all right, dude, like you didn't get as much attention as you wanted. You weren't hugged enough, but like your
Which,
dad
to be fair,
literally
and
was
it
with
is a
you all
form
the
of
time.
there is a form of abuse behind that, to be fair, but
Sure,
I don't
sure.
think it merits the I don't think it paid off the feeling that, that Del Toro wanted us to feel.
I agree. I agree. And that's just a minor thing because Oscar Isaac's
100%.
performance for the rest of the film is fantastic.
He
Um,
does so good.
he
Like,
does. He
genuinely,
really
he
does.
does a phenomenal job. This is a bit of a different type of role than we've seen him in recently. So to just see him, like, kind of lean in and go hard, like, it was great. I loved his performance overall.
100%. Shit. The things that I don't like about Victor really have to do with like just the other aspects. What is it? Ben? Is that the name of the little brother? I forget. No, it's not Ben. What's
No,
the
it
little
is not
brother's
Ben.
name?
It is William.
William Frankenstein is kind of useless. And okay, so this gets into some of the changes that I don't like. Right? I don't like the change that they made to the little brother, and I don't like the changes that they made to Elizabeth. There's also like a weird, and I'll get into this more later. I'm just saying it. There's also like a weird kind of context thing where there's like a god, I forget what god it is, statue in like Victor's room, and he keeps thinking he's having visions from this god. But to me, that's a plot point that is like unnecessary. I know what this story is, like pretty fucking good. And I that's never been in any iteration. And I feel like it's just too much over explaining of why Victor is the way that he is. I really love, I forget his name, but I love the performance that's given in the original black and white one because that Victor is just mad, right? He's just he
Yeah.
that is the most mad of mad scientists. And I like that. Like you don't really have to have a reason other than you just want to do shit. Like that's all the motivation I need in a character like that. But for this one, Del Toro does go out of his way to like beat me over the head as to why he's doing what he's doing. I'm like, dude, I get it. And Oscar Isaac is doing more than a fair job of having me go along with him and follow him that I don't need all this extra explanation. Just like let him act,
To
let him be Victor.
to be fair, I do wonder if this was in part of the explanation is because we haven't actually had a Frankenstein film in a hot minute, and I wonder if there was this over
Fair.
explanation. I'm not defending it, like
No
defending it,
fair.
by the way, but I wonder if it's to help the younger groups that are coming to see this as well, who may not be as well known to the story of Frankenstein.
I wonder. I probably took it the wrong way, and I took it just as oh Del Toro's like for lack of a better phrase, like jerking himself off. Like, no offense.
It
Del
could be
Toro,
it could be that too, to be fair.
especially with the elaborate sets and the scope of this movie, like it's very much Del Toro, but I like it in Pan's Labyrinth. I like it in Crimson Peak. I don't necessarily like it in Frankenstein because it's a story that I know very well. I guess that's what it is. Um, but yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait if you have anything else to say on Victor before I go
No,
into other
you're
stuff.
good. You're good.
How do you feel about Jacob Elordi as the monster? Because that's really why we're here.
Honestly, I wasn't sure how I felt about him when we get the opening sequence because I do like how this is filmed in like chapters and we're getting like kind of like the prologue to
I can't wait to talk about the chapters, but I'm not gonna do it right now.
that's
Sorry, go
okay.
ahead.
No, you're good. But just to get it like I wasn't sure how I felt him about him in like the first chapter in a way where it's like not the prologue but or maybe it was the prologue. But yeah, the prologue where he like is the where we see him first
When he
and
attacks the ship,
yeah. I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "Okay, menacing monster, I get it." But there wasn't enough there for me to really like be like, "Okay, monster, I'm liking you." You're aside from like, "You're fucking brutal, man." You know? So, but then I love this betrayal and this journey we go on with him later when we get his side of the story. Because I do think that Jacob does a very good job with like his movements, like trying to do like this like young mind sort of like especially when we first meet the monster and he is
the brand new
first
baby.
yeah, the no bebe that Victor doesn't have the patience for. And I do really like what we see Jacob do in here do there though because there's a lot of um really well choreographed movements that he does to sell this character, and I do like that. I enjoy what we get later on when we get him with the blind man, who, by the way, is played by David Bradley, and it was crazy to know that was David Bradley because you couldn't tell. And if anybody doesn't know that who David Bradley is, well, he's you know Mister what's his face? He's Filch from Harry Potter. But anyway, uh, yeah, I
Oh,
don't
the
know.
old man.
Yeah, the blind man is Filch from
I'll
Harry
get to
Potter.
that.
But I'm just
I'll get
saying,
to that.
like, I really liked this progression. I think Jacob is it Jacob? Yeah,
Yep.
I think Jacob does a really good job showing his slow growth into the mindset that we see by the end of the movie.
I do enjoy him. I do enjoy him and his performance in this movie, and like it's kind of cool because like
Dude's literally
I
coming
watched
from Saltburn. Like literally Saltburn and Euphoria to
Saltburn
this.
is a fucking whole difference. Oh my god, that movie is fucking wild. But
He's
Euphoria,
literally known for The Kissing Booth and Euphoria. And
here's
then
the thing.
he's now the like doing this like to go from those to this role. I think he's a, shows amazing growth for this young actor.
Well, that's okay. So that's the thing because in Euphoria, I guess I should have given him more credit because I can't fucking stand his character in Euphoria. But that's the whole idea, right?
That's
I'm
why
not
he's
supposed
written
to
that
like
way,
that
right?
dude. Right, right. And so like fucking kudos, he pulled it off. And he's a big dude. He genuinely is that tall. So
He's
I'm
so
glad
big.
in that respect, I'm glad that they cast him in that. What I think it is, what you were saying about like, oh, he's not that much of a monster, is because even after, like when he first shows up, and I've seen the memes where he looks like one of the dudes from Prometheus. He looks like one of those. Like I get it, but
That's
but
awesome.
I really love what they did by like graying him out and having the scars and shit. I liked
Oh yeah.
New Baby Monster actually looks like a monster and is kind of unsettling and with his movements and shit, and he does that really, really well. By the time we get to the point, like you said in the prologue, where he's like full monster now and he's got all of his powers essentially, he just looks like a dude. Like,
Like
yeah, and that's the thing that
and
I have.
I understand why. They're in a really cold climate, and he has to also cover his body, right? Like,
Well,
he's dressed in a way for the weather, but I do think we lose some of like, monster factor from having him
yeah.
so covered.
No, I think we lose some of the monster factor just by showing him in general. Like he's got hair now and like his scars are healing and shit. He literally just looks like a guy. He's supposed to be a combination of different body parts. De Niro's monster did the same thing, and they got it wrong too because by the time like he starts to heal and shit, it's like it's your fucking Robert De Niro. Like I get it. Same thing with this. By the time he starts healing, like you're Jacob Elordi. Now I think I'm pretty sure the whole idea was to get like the best looking dude that they could get for this, because like yeah, when he starts to heal, like I'm like, and he's got the hair, you're just another good looking dude. Like you don't look like a monster at all. Karloff is the only one that is
He was
a
still
quote unquote
physically deformed
monster.
though.
Not really. I mean, he's
Cuz
got
like
like some
so the
missing
thing
hair
is
here and there.
so the thing is when he cuz he has his hair at this point, like when he goes after Elizabeth on the wedding day. I know it's a quick jump ahead, but when he's walking down the stairs where there's more lighting, you can still see the color changes and like the changes on his face.
Sure.
Where I think when
My whole
he when
it's
he's more like all like has the mask and everything, you lose a lot of that detail. Though in certain shots you see like because one spot across his face and all over his nose is really blue compared to other pieces of his body. And I
sure.
think, like, that looks I love when that stands out because it really adds into, like, that I'm pieced together factor. But when he is so covered with the mask and everything, we lose so much of it. So, like,
Well,
compared like, when we see him at the wedding compared to when he's fully clothed and masked up, I think he still looks like a monster more at the wedding than when he's more clothed.
I think he looks more like a monster when he's cloaked because I can't actually see what he looks like, right? And then when he shows up after just being born, in a sense, like that he looks like an actual monster. And then like you're just a dude at that point. I'm not taking anything away from the performance or what they were trying to do.
Sure.
I'm just saying for me, that's the tough part. They did the same thing in the 90s version too with De Niro. It's like I want to see a fucking monster. I get it, wounds are healing and stuff, but you're supposed to be pieces of multiple people. If you're pieces of multiple people, why do you still look like Robert De Niro? Why do you still look like Jacob Elordi? Fucking Karloff's had a giant ass forehead, weird hands. Like, that's a monster. You keep calling him a monster. I'm like, nah, he just created another dude. And again, I understand we're doing Frankenstein. I get like that's the whole idea is creating a new person, yada yada yada. But
I mean, there's
I
I
just
think
I genuinely wanted more monster. Now when he starts throwing people around, game on.
yeah.
Like that
Now, I
is
do wanna
sweet.
say that I think they try to portray more that he like he really isn't a monster. To be
Well,
fair,
yeah.
like
No, I know.
especially in this portrayal, like he's not the monster. Where if you think about it, more Victor is, and how society keeps viewing him as some weird monstrous creature. Where you tell me you shoot a deer and you don't see something like that, and you're like, that looks like a human from that far away. You're telling me
Yeah, but
that's
he's like a but he is a weird human. You know what I mean?
sure,
And at
but
that point, that is justified that people at that time would freak out if they saw something like that. Whereas if they would have seen that monster, if you they would have seen the monster fully healed and how he is at the end of the movie, then they probably would have been like, dude, were you
sure.
like in an accident or
And
something?
I do completely get that. But I do think that there's more depth to as there is even obviously in Mary's book about who the
Sure.
real monster is. And like the monster is in a way vanity because like that's one thing is like a big part of the about something that the monstrous in the books and even to today's society is people's vanity. And you see that be questioned a lot because they're like, "Oh, you're hideous. You're pieced together." Like this and that. Like you see a lot of that in the
Yeah, but I didn't
Frankenstein
get that in this
stories.
one.
I think we got hints of it. I think it could have been stronger.
Sure. Yeah, I agree 100%. So to go back to what you're saying about the blind man, that is in every iteration one of my favorite scenes of all time
Mine too.
because
Mine
the old
too.
man is the only one that actually like shows this monster companionship, kindness and companionship, right?
Hmm.
And he's like he's alone for however long. He just wants somebody to hang out with him. The thing that I don't like is how it ends. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I like it better. I'm pretty sure that's the version in the book too. Is that people come back and find the monster with this old man and they freak out because they don't know what the fuck's going on, right? And they drive him away. That's the tragedy of the monster. He's trying to learn how to be human. People won't let him because he looks like a fucking monster, right? He looks like he's pieced together. That's not what we get in this one, and I think it takes almost everything away from that scene. But because of who's in it, I do give it a pass because it's acted very well. But I am not a fan of how that ends in this version. It's exciting and it's cool, but I don't think it fits with what we're supposed to be telling here.
I don't necessarily disagree. I don't fully agree either. I do think that we do in parts get that moment with David Bradley's Blind Man, but
Mhm. Well done.
I do also agree that it does come off in other aspects of it a little soft as well. So
Yeah.
like I think there's a lot to love there. I do think even with how it ends, do see a you see him starting to go through his grief before it is interrupted. And I think that that kind of was disappointing only because I wanted him to grieve longer before what happened. I think there could have been a more play on that grief, especially what happens then after, even, once we get to Elizabeth, which I won't
Right.
like get into super deep
Oh,
on,
she's next. She's
but yeah.
next. But my biggest thing that I don't like about the monster, it's really the only thing I don't like it, is that there's not enough tragedy for me.
Mhm.
I don't feel as bad for this monster as I felt for other ones because I don't think there was enough emphasis put on the fact that he is a tragic character. I feel like because I already know, like I'm supposed to go into this with my prior knowledge, and then Del Toro's telling his version, and that's fine. I'm gonna get into that here in a fucking second, but I don't think he does enough to do like the tragedy of it all. It's like we hit the beats and they're done really well, but I don't think he takes enough time to make me feel bad for the monster. And I'm not the biggest fan of that because that's kind of like the whole reason why we're here. But he is cool. He does some shit, and I'm here
Yeah,
for it when he does do some shit. But it's like I don't want to look at you as like an action hero. You're supposed to be a tragic thing,
fair,
you
fair.
know. Um, but Elizabeth, and by proxy, her uncle Christoph Waltz's character, I forget his name. Not a big fan of them. Elizabeth, especially Elizabeth, is like, why is this character here? I know she's in the story, and I love that version, and I love the prior versions, but this Elizabeth is my least favorite. She doesn't really serve that much of a purpose to me.
So for me, my favorite Elizabeth is when she goes the two times she goes down into like the cellar area to meet him, like when she first meets him, to the I'm gonna go check up on him, and to her final scene. Those are my three favorite scenes of her. And basically all her scenes with the creature is I like and I'm fine with. The rest of
Okay.
Elizabeth, I'm like, I don't need her. I like a little bit of this combat, like how she combats a little bit with Victor, how she's like more defensive and more in a interesting way, like more caring, more nurturing. I like that side of her, but I think we should have gotten more of that side of her. I think there should have been more challenge, more or like she should have been challenging Victor more. That I think it would have paid off, like how feelings changed later
Yeah,
for between them.
I am the opposite. I'm a fan of Elizabeth when she's not dealing with the monster. When it's her and Victor, especially the first time she shows up and they're sitting at the table, big fan of that scene. And I like
That
the
and that
setup
scene,
of the
that
character.
scene's good. That is a good
Yeah,
scene.
and but she's set up to be like this progressive, like independent thinking, like strong woman in this society and the day and all that
That
stuff.
kind of falls off though.
Yes, it does. Yeah, and I don't like that it does. And I
Like
also don't like all right, I don't know what Del Toro's thing is about having human characters like want to fuck monsters, but like it doesn't work for me in here. It's like so out of, I don't care. I'll spoil that. It's out of nowhere. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like she is so sympathetic to the monster who again, I haven't even really besides the fact that like you said Victor is very abusive to the monster. Um there really isn't anything in there to make me be like, yeah, this creature deserves like this much attention from you. Like she immediately is like, oh, I'm about it, and
see,
she's
the
giving him
thing
fuck
is
me eyes.
I
And I'm like,
think
what are we doing?
I think the reason why I like those scenes is because they are important scenes for the creature and the progression of the story. However, I think her position in those scenes would have been so much better if he didn't pull back on that progressiveness she had. You see a little bit of like, but he's a human, and Victor's like, no, he's not. That thing, and she's like, it. She's like, that thing, like he won't call it a person, where she will. You get little hints
Right.
of that, like of that side of that progressive side of her, but it
Yeah.
wasn't strong enough like we saw in the beginning. There should have been more pushback against Victor to make those moments stand out even more like they should have.
No, I agree. They all end up like kind of teaming together to do like essentially like train the monster and shit. And I'm like, oh, where's the opposition here? Because like you said, that's kind of what you were set up as. But then you just go along with everything. It's like, all right, well, what the fuck are you doing here again? I
Mhm.
I don't really understand what your purpose is, other than to be a contrarian for like that one scene essentially, which is back to me, Elizabeth's best scene is at that table. After that, I don't need her. Why is she there? Which is a bummer because Mia Goth is a great actress.
Yeah, she is.
But yeah, I don't think she's used well at all in this movie. And then Christoph
I think
Waltz's
there are
character,
moments I think there's moments where she's used well, but it doesn't have the payoff because there's so many times she's not.
right? And for me, the payoff isn't there because a the monster isn't as sympathetic as I feel like it should be, and b they don't
I agree with that.
take this. They don't fully take this where I want it to. First of all, and I haven't read the book in a minute, but I'm pretty sure Elizabeth is actually like a sister or like a genuine blood relative of Victor, which makes the whole like relationship that they have weirder and like more intense for me, especially when if it goes into like the bride, which isn't in here. But that's where I felt like they were going. And then when they don't, and Mia Goth doesn't get a chance to do anything after a certain point, it's like I just don't get why you were here, other than you're in the book, therefore have to be in the story.
So Elizabeth in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is actually Frankenstein's adopted sister, fiance, and then wife
Yes.
in the novel.
And yeah. And that is like worked around it here. I don't know if it's to make it not weird, but like it's still weird
She's
with
also
Victor's obsession.
she also plays his mother.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, she's also Claire.
Even even weirder. That's one of the choices where I was like, I don't understand what
But
we
to
were
me
trying to
that
get
weirdly
at.
makes sense because he's like my mother, like in like his monologue, like my mother was the purest, most beautiful woman I've ever seen, and then the next person who ever captures him is somebody who he can hold in the same light as his mother, which don't get me wrong is weird, but to him like that was the that was the pinnacle of a woman to him was his mother.
Right, and it's just weird to make the choice now, and I think it's just to give the Waltz character, like to bring that in, which I'm not really a fan of Christoph Waltz's character in here either.
Harlander
He
isn't
doesn't
really necessary other than being the
right.
money bank.
Correct. He serves a purpose, but when we get to the point where like he has his grand reveal of what his plan is, what he wants to do, I'm like, but why? Why like why would you do that? Like they tried to throw in the little disease thing, but that didn't work for me either. So Christoph Waltz and Mia Goth in this movie are not needed at all. At all. I'd be fine without
Calm down,
them.
Dreaded. We're reviewing that next week.
Oh, glad you saw it though. And yeah, so how do you feel about Christoph Waltz?
Kind of same. I mean, I do like that he's kind of like the catalyst that sets Victor onto his final path, right? Um, I
Um,
I I do
yes.
like the I mean, his character is necessary in terms of getting Victor what he needs to create the creature. However, and another thing I will state that I do like this like morbid photography thing that he has going on because it does create an interesting like he's like I just want to document your stuff, which is on it I thought was kind of cool. I liked that little bit, and you see a brief moment of it, which does play a fact later for the creature when he returns to like try to find out where he's from. But other than that,
Yeah. Don't really need you.
don't need him.
Really don't. Which sucks because it's
Which is
Christoph
why
Waltz
he
and he
that's why he dies when he dies.
well, and
Sorry,
he
spoiler.
play
But
what he has to work with. I mean, it's Christoph Waltz. He's fucking phenomenal. Like it's good, but
he plays his
he
role
feels he
well, but his character isn't fully it isn't he isn't necessary for as long as he is on the screen.
feels out of place for me. Definitely feels out of place. Castle Frankenstein is amazing to look at, but and I guess that's the whole reason of having Christoph Waltz's character because he finances the whole thing. Otherwise, there's no way fucking Victor's gonna afford that place. But looks cool. The production and the set designs. I know we said it earlier, but it can't. I feel like it can't be said enough. The detail, the amount of time and effort that had to go into that shit. Like, whew, I hope everybody got a raise. They did phenomenal with crafting the world of this movie and all the sets. They
It looks
are
so good.
fucking beautiful to look at, and that's why we say, like, if you're gonna watch this movie and you can, go see it in theaters before you watch on home, because like you're like probably gonna lose a lot of the detail on your home screen. Just saying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there's only but a few things I don't like, and they're all like related to the story. The changes to Elizabeth, the add in a Christoph Waltz's character. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, because you mentioned the chapters. The most unintentionally funny thing about this movie is when they're on the ship and Victor is telling his story to the sailors, to the captain, and then the monster gets on the boat and the monster crashes into the room and he goes, "You've heard my master's tale, now you're going to hear mine." And it cuts to the fucking next chapter, and now I'm getting the rest of the story from the monster's perspective, but he's also telling me stuff from Victor's perspective too. Funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. The way that he says it, the way that he fucking busts in the room to say it, that whole scene was very funny to me unintentionally. And then yeah, it doesn't make any sense that would happen. Just let Victor keep fucking telling the story. That I don't
No,
understand why they did that either.
I don't actually dislike that. I actually really like that because it
Ah,
let me talk. So because it shows more of this actual like humanity that the creature carries. It shows his intelligence level that Victor had been begging him to show him from the very beginning. And now
no, continue, continue.
I also want to say, like, in the way, like, obviously with the blind man, they make storytelling such an important part for the creature and for his way of learning his own thoughts and to learn how to really speak and how, like, what words mean and how to use them. So I do kind of like the chance he's like, before I got here, I spent a long while through the winter with a blind man reading books, learning to read, learning language, and being able to actually convey things. And that was like potentially the only time in his life he'll ever have the chance to tell his story. So I actually don't dislike it because of that.
You're not wrong, but having him show up, murder a bunch of people, wreck a bunch of shit, force his way on the boat. He's after Victor anyway. He finally gets in and he goes, "Hold on, story time." I was like, "Wait, what? What do you mean fucking story time?" Blue balled the shit out of me. And just I'm just saying, for me, the way that he says it, because he straight up just busts in there and he's got the captain and he looks like he's gonna kill him. He goes, "Actually, I'm gonna sit you down so I can spin you a yarn." I'm like, "What? What do you mean?"
But I
So
also
that
think that shows it hard. I think that they do that, and this is just obviously I'm not saying this is fact. I think the way
sure.
they scripted it and did it the way they did is because like Victor scoffs in Elizabeth's face when she says he's a pure soul, like he's pure. And I think that shows that was a moment to try to show like I'm here to fuck you up and to fuck up my creator. But then like there's a moment of like I've told this story. I think it shows like that a brief moment of like this creature, this man isn't actually fueled by murder and death like they've been portraying. Like he's been blamed for how many murders now? At by the point like at least 3.
He fucked some shit up.
Yeah, but then he does fuck some people up, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying like he's been blamed for like 3 murders. He's committed at least
Several. Several.
7 by that point. Like but I'm just saying like I think that like and for me that moment was him it was almost like a show at the fact that at the at the heart of this creature, they are not actually evil. They're not necessarily in their as a being as a whole a bad person.
Yeah, I really hope that that is a takeaway. That is the takeaway that people get from this movie. Because I mean, that's the whole point of it anyway. Is that
Hmm.
no one's born evil, right? Or born
Hmm.
mean or stuff. It's stuff that you learn along the way. It's your surroundings, the way that people interact with you. That's what forms you. When you come out, you essentially are just a thing at that point, right? You don't know right from wrong. You don't know how to do anything. Everybody else teaches you that. The world teaches you that, and that's what makes you either an asshole or not, essentially, right? So yeah, and that is the whole point of him telling his story, is to show that you thought I was a monster, you left me for dead. I found somebody that actually gave a shit. Now I know how to actually function as a human. I've chosen not to be the monster that you see me as. Victor is the actual monster. That's the whole point. I get that.
Hmm.
But to have him bust in, whoop people's ass, and then be like, story time. I was just like, all right, okay. I will listen, but fuck, that is hilarious. I'm sorry, it's just me. And then yeah, and then the whole point of him telling his side of the story, but like there's still snippets of like Victor's side. I'm wearing a Gur hoodie. For anybody that doesn't know what this is Invader Zim. There is an episode. I laugh. That's what made me laugh even harder. There is an episode where Zim is being a fry cook, and the boss of the spot has had a vendetta against him forever. Finally gets his hands on Zim. Zim is recounting like a day in the past. And after he's done telling this, the guy goes, "How can you remember something I said if you weren't even there?" And that is the first thing I thought when the monster goes, "Now you're gonna hear my side of the story," and then Victor pops up as the monster's telling his side of the story. I was like, how can you remember something he said if you weren't even there? Funniest unintentional shit or unintentionally funny thing I've seen in quite some time. Sorry, just me. Anyway. But yeah, outside of those couple things, this is very much a great movie.
No,
William's
I
also
I
pointless.
really really enjoyed it.
I don't have anything to say about William because he's fucking pointless. Other than for him to give that line at the end where he calls Victor the monster, he's not fucking
Well,
necessary either.
so I will say William is important in the background, like not like where we see him in the background, but just like the
Well,
background of the story, getting things set up for like Frankenstein Castle, this and that.
right.
Like he
Yeah,
he
a
has,
big chunk
but
of stuff doesn't happen without him. No, you're right.
correct, and it's okay because like uh, how do I want to put it? We do not get to see everything that William actually does in the story because it's boring. It's
He's the
just
grunt.
it's logistical. He becomes his and Harland he becomes Victor's and Harlander's grunt.
And it's also like a grift by Victor so that way he can try and cozy up to Elizabeth as well, right? You know,
Correct.
William doesn't know any better.
Correct. But
I mean, William's more tragic than the monster and Victor because William just wants to be like a good brother and just
yeah.
wants to be helpful. He just wants to be like
I
involved,
I
and
wanted
Victor
more from
absolutely
William.
uses him.
I wanted more from Felix Kimmerer's like reaction. And this I don't necessarily blame Felix for. I blame Del Toro. I think this is kind of just how they scripted it, how they wanted him to do it, but I wanted more of a reaction from William when he gets to meet Elizabeth's dead uncle. Like that's a very big like they the whole reason they're there is because she hasn't heard from from her uncle and they're going to check in on them. Like him
Well,
and Victor. But
yeah.
that's a big reason. And he's like, that's your fiance's your wife to be's uncle, her only family.
Well, and that's why I don't like the changes because William in the book and in the other versions I've seen him in, he's a little kid. He gets killed by the monster, and it's way more tragic because he's just like an innocent kid that's caught in the crossfire. This is like a I can't think of I'm sorry, I can't think of a better thing. This is just a derpy dude who really has no idea what's going on because he's really not. I don't know. Like I don't know how nobody saw this coming from a mile away, or maybe they did and they're just ignoring it. But for like Elizabeth and William in particular, you kind of got what you deserved just by proxy. You know what I mean? But up until that point, you don't really contribute all that much.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just kind of there.
which is a bummer. Which is a
Yeah.
little bit of a bummer. So just for me, there's other versions that I think do certain moments better. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I don't necessarily disagree.
But I mean, outside of that, I love this movie. I love looking at it. I love the performances of the people that I'm there to see, which is Victor and the Monster. Um,
Quick
the
shout
scene
out
with the
though
old
to Lars Mikkelsen, the captain, Captain Anderson. I think
oh, dude.
I liked him. I liked it.
I do like him too. I thought he was a little bit too peppy. That makes if that makes sense. Because the whole point of him is it's Victor says it. You share my madness. I didn't really get that from this captain. You know, he's very much like a dude that wants to accomplish his goal. But for somebody that's probably been in the fucking Arctic for as long as he has, and like his fucking crew is dying or whatever, I didn't get like madness from him. I got obsessive, but I didn't get madness.
See, in the
I get madness from
in
Victor at
this,
that point.
yeah, fair. I think more in this movie, their term madness is just meant to loosely mean uh obsessive.
Well, then just call it obsessive because that works. Obsessive is a good word. We don't need to use madness. Use fucking
I
obsessive. You're
agree.
as obsessed as I am. I'd be like, all right, I get it. When you use madness, like I'm expecting a certain thing. I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Could be me.
No, I could see how the language is a little too forced for the madness bit.
Well, I see like I said, I see Victor at that point as a dude that's been driven to some madness with all
Oh,
the fucking
100%.
shit that has gotten him to that point. Absolutely.
100%.
But the captain is still very much like, I want my like I'm here. I'm still gonna rouse the crew a little bit. You know, he gives big speeches, even though he's pretty much like fucking deal with it. But I don't get at no point was I like, your crew might mutiny on you because you're like fucking insane. I just got like a dude that's just like bulls. We're gonna make them.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have anything else?
Yeah, that covers it for me.
Cool. All right. Well, you want to score this bad boy?
Yeah, let's do it. Shall I go or you?
Awesome. Go ahead.
So overall, I walked out of this film very happy. I really had a great time with it. It's visually just absolutely stunning. I love the sound design. That's one thing we didn't touch on. I think the sound design is weirdly a part of the film that you don't question. It just works so well that you're not like, "Oh my god, this didn't sound right," or blah blah blah. I will say I also caught like at least 2 or 3 counts of continuity errors in the background of things, but it's fine. Um, that's just my eyeballs noticing things. Um,
Listen, I
but it
was just
happens
watching a
in most
movie.
films.
I was just watching a movie before we started this where like you can see the cameraman in like doors and shit. Like it's fucking hilarious.
That's hilarious.
Amazing.
Yeah, there was one like when his like Victor Frankenstein Senior was like making his wife eat that thing for the baby. The different pieces from each different angle was different shaped in size. And then another one that I can remember off the top of my head is when she tells Victor, when Elizabeth tells Victor, like, no, I don't love you. I'm not choosing you. And storms out. You see her, you see the back of her. She grabs her hat off the table. But when they cut to see the front of her, when Victor starts to chase after her, it's still on the table behind her. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked for my actual rating.
Yeah, yeah. Then don't be me.
But anyway, with that being said, this is still just even with like everything that we like said we disliked or like was we weren't the biggest fans of are still for the most part for me really minor. This is still
Yes,
a phenomenal film. It's still
I agree.
easily enjoyed. This is going to be a film I will rewatch. And honestly, like I'm a bit as we've mentioned before because we always talk about the Dracula stuff. We're doing this. We've looked into Invisible Man. Like I love like the vintage uh Monsterverse. I love it so much, and I this has made me very happy with it. Like this new edition has been great. I love that Victor isn't some crazy the like stereotypical crazy mad scientist guy. I love the Victor that we get in this. So for me, I'm giving this film a 9. I I really enjoyed it.
Um, yeah, I like honestly when you talked about like all the monsters and shit. I'm not gonna lie, I got chills. I love the fucking gothic monsters so much.
Me
Dracula, the Invisible
too.
Man, Frankenstein, the Wolfman. God, I need a good Wolfman. Um,
Preach.
I yeah no these monsters and their stories get it done for me. I'm huge fans of all of them. There will never be a time, as long as I am alive, that I will not consume any sort of media that these monsters are in. It's fucking phenomenal. This is, like you said, another great addition. Del Toro, like when he does stuff like this, I just feel like it's gonna be good. There's no way it's not gonna be. It's just like at what level. Um, and this is up there. This is very much up there. The things that I don't like about it, they are minimal,
Hmm.
but they are enough to say take it from a 9 to an 8, which is where I'm
See,
at. I'm
they
giving,
took it for me. It took it from a 9.5 to a 9.
yeah, yeah, probably 8.5. I would probably be at an 8.5 if it wasn't for that shit. But they are minimal. It doesn't take away from Oscar's performance. Doesn't take away from Jacob's performance. The stuff that you think you're gonna see in here, you are absolutely gonna see. There's, like I said, there's action sequences. The monster fucks shit up. Great scenes they are. Uh, Beautiful movie to look at. All the
Dude, I
performances are good.
I'm
Even
gonna
even the
very briefly
characters like
say
don't like.
for the action bit, the jaw. Holy hell,
Oh, dude, phenomenal. Yeah,
so good.
I'm here for all that. But yeah, and I definitely had a benefit to seeing it on the big screen, which, like, again,
Yes,
go check it out in the theater before you watch
like
it at home.
it is enjoyable to watch at home. You will like
Oh,
it, but
yeah,
this generally does deserve a big screen showing for you. Like
100%.
for any of y'all who want to go see it who haven't yet, go
Yeah,
see it before you can't because it you deserve to see it on the big screen.
yeah. Yeah, if you're a fan like we are, 100%. If you're a Del Toro fan, 100%. If
Hmm.
you're looking at it and you're like, I kind of want to see that, 100%. And then, Friday, cozy up, watch it at home. Like, that's cool. Um, but yeah, 8. It was a great experience watching it. My beefs are just because I know the story. Like, that's really all it
Right,
is, and I
100%.
have I have a preference. That's all that is. But anybody else, fucking watch it and let me know how you felt, because I think you're gonna have a really, really good time with it. And like for anybody that's out there that's like a cinema snob, this is fucking cinema. This is not a movie. This one's more along the lines of cinema.
Oh yeah,
Grandiose,
oh yeah,
big sets. Oh my god, we could gush over the sets. But yeah, do yourself a favor and check it out regardless. But go see it in theaters.
absolutely.
And it was
Well,
fun. This was fun. The conversation was. I've had nothing but good conversations about this since I left the theater with Jeff. Like I appreciate that this movie for that aspect too, that I get to talk about it as much as I have. Love talking about this stuff. So give me more. By the and The Bride comes out on my birthday next year. So stoked to see that as well. Holy fuck. Side note.
it's gonna be good. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, dude. All right, I'm done.
All right, everybody. With that, I'm Morgan. That's Luke. We are your host of the Wannabes podcast. Sadly, Dreaded could not be here tonight, but he's here with us in spirit as they're driving wherever the heck they're driving. So,
Can't wait to see what he says. What he has to
yeah,
say about it.
he does plan on catching this. I know when it drops on Netflix due to his schedule. So, I think Dreaded's gonna enjoy this one, truthfully. But
I do too.
anyway, with that said, thank you for joining us. This was our movie review of the 2025 Del Toro's Frankenstein, starring Oscar Isaac. So, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, Reds, LinkedIn, the works. That way, you know when we're going live next, what we're going to be reviewing. Next week will be our review of Predator Badlands. So that'll be 8 p.m. Eastern Time here on Twitch and YouTube on November 12th. So if you're a Predator fan, make sure you go see it so you can talk about it with us in chat. And if not, because it'll be right after we will be doing a spoiler free review. So,
Facts.
with that said, if you're not on YouTube already, head on over there, like the live stream, follow us if you're not, because all of our videos are there for rewatch. If you're on YouTube, please head over and give us a follow on Twitch to help support us across all of our channels. You can catch some of our older reviews on the go as well on Spotify. But for now, guys, we're gonna call it a night here, and we will see you next Wednesday for Predator Badlands. So have a good night, be safe out there, and next time, don't forget the popcorn. So peace, everybody.
Bye, guys.